Huddle is brought to you by Canadians Destination Centre Fort Garry, Tavern United Fort Garry, a new World Sports Pub. Watch your favorite games on 2 brand new 70-inch monitors on our patio located at 1824 Pembina Highway in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Huddle. Another week, another loaded week. I'm Scott Taylor, my co-host. Rick Hankiewicz, the commissioner of the Winnipeg High School Football League, board member of Football Manitoba, board member of Football Canada. You're everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
Rick, you've had a great few weeks. You've had a great season. I mean, the High School Football League this year was phenomenal.
It was. Yeah, can't argue. My first year at the Reins, it was great.
You're like Cinderella.
Oh, so far, yeah.
Well, because you had a conference where nothing was determined until the last week.
Yeah.
You had 6 teams kind of clustered around in another conference.
Yep.
And even St. Paul's, who had dominated teams all year long, still had to win their final game to finish first.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be just a wonderful season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just wonderful stuff. And to top it all off, your kids get to play at Investors Group Field for the championship.
Going to be great.
Yeah, it was great. This week, we are loaded with Lions. We have a pride of Lions coming in.
Yeah.
It's going to be tremendous. You're going to come back at the end of the show. We're going to talk about what we talked about.
Yep.
And in the meantime, go WHSFL. See what
Absolutely.
I did that? How fast I did?
Yeah,
Rick Hankiewicz, my co-host. I'm Scott Taylor. This is The Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba, and we're community created on Shaw TV. We'll be back right after this. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Huddle. Scott Taylor with my new best friend, Kyle Kolbuck. We've been able to talk between breaks, and you've told me a lot about yourself. We're going to get into that. But first of all, you play for the East Kodiaks, a team that didn't get past the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
But you had a pretty good season this year because of the move from AA to AAA. You guys played pretty well. Tell us about that.
Well, it was a big step through AA to AAA, so we worked really hard, worked long practices every day. And we just fight every day, every game.
But it was a faster game going from AA to AAA?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot tougher. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you start playing football?
I started in 07, Anthem. I played at Eagles.
How'd you like the East Side Eagles program? I
liked it.
Why did you decide to do that? I understand your dad was a player.
Yes, my dad was a really good running back for the Eagles.
So you got into it.
Yeah.
But were you a lineman from the time you started?
I was actually a D lineman.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, you only weigh about 200.
Yeah.
You're not the biggest guy I've ever seen playing high school football.
No.
That's one thing I love about the game, is it gives an opportunity for kids, no matter their size, to be able to play the game. And you found a pretty good home as a tackle on offense.
Yes.
Tell us why you like to play football.
I like just the hitting, the contact, just hanging with friends.
Now, you've played for a long time now. You're 17, grade 11, going into grade 12.
Yeah.
River East made that big step from AA Vidrick to AAA Palmer.
Yeah.
You're going to be back in AAA next year. How's this team going to compete?
Well, we're going to fight every day. Just fight just to the end. No stops.
Good players coming back?
Yes, very good players.
How many?
10.
10 starters?
Yes, 10 returning starters.
So 10 returning starters next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should be able to compete pretty well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was a great year, 3-3-1.
Yeah.
Made the playoffs, which has to be a real, I mean, that's a feather in your cap in the first year.
Yeah.
So how far do you want to take football?
I want to play majors after high school, see how far I go there.
The East Side?
Yeah.
Hey, good for you.
Yeah.
Kyle Kolbuck from the River East Kodiaks, a team that moved from AA to AAA and had a very, very successful season. Kyle, great to meet you.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on. Kyle Kolbuck of the River East Kodiaks. I'm Scott Taylor. This is The Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba, and we'll be back right after this. Have a full house here at Huddle Central. To my immediate right is Gary the Lion. Great name, isn't it? He has a reason to be happy. David Hasselfield, the head coach of the Fort Garry Lions Majors, with the trophy, champions of the Manitoba Major Football League. And to say it was an upset, I think, is one thing. To say the way it was done is another thing altogether. For those who weren't at the major championship game, tell us how you pulled this one off, beating an East Side Eagles team that had won 20 straight.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. We started off, it was a defensive struggle. It was incredible. 3-2 at the end of the half, which is
good goaltending, actually.
Really good goaltending. Yeah, if you came in late, you'd think it was a hockey game. Eagles scored with about 8 minutes left in the game to go up. They were up 14-10. And then the drive started with 6 minutes left on our.
Well, let's go through this drive. It was pretty remarkable in itself. You're a team with 23 guys dressed for this game.
That's correct.
So the Eagles look like an army on the bench compared to you.
That's right.
So you got 23 players dressed. You've got guys out there who have been going both ways or playing special teams and doing all the things you need to do to have 3 different teams with 23 guys. You start this drive about 60, 62, 63 yards from the end zone, and it looks bleak. It looks like you don't have much of a chance left. You only got a couple of minutes to do this.
I didn't see it like that. when we
tell us what the plan was.
Well, when we put the team together starting in April, we were looking for guys who were very competitive. And that competitive drive would just take them through anything. That's my philosophy of getting people together. Our conditioning that we did wasn't the usual conditioning. When you've got a group of competitive guys, we played air raid football as our conditioning thing. Last 15 minutes of every practice. And basically all I had to do was just make sure there was no fights. Because our guys are so competitive.
So you became a boxing referee.
well, almost. And with this special type of guys, they love to hit, they love to play football, and the competitive drive to win is in all of them. So I had that. So when we had the ball with 6 minutes left, I wasn't that concerned. There was plenty of time, and I thought, okay, let's just keep it going, and let's hope that the volcano doesn't erupt and they become too competitive.
Yeah, but you sound very, very calm for a coach who in 3 situations you had third down, relatively long. You had a 3rd and 9 there was a tremendous play call.
Right.
And you had about a 3rd and 7 or 8, and then you had a 3rd down near the goal line, and you got a pass interference call.
Right.
It was nail biting. I mean, you can sit back and say you were as calm as you might have been and you expected your team to do this, but for the rest of us watching this game, it looked bleak twice for you.
I guess so, but as the coach, like I'm living in the moment, in the second, so it's just one play at a time. The other thing was that we started at the beginning of the year with a no-huddle offense. So I very rarely call plays. My quarterback, Christoph, is the guy that is calling plays.
A guy you know pretty well, too.
Yeah, okay, my number 2 son. And I knew where he was going with things. It's taken the whole year of working together to get the philosophies down.
Have you noticed that Gary has music going on in his head?
Absolutely, yeah.
He's always dancing.
That's why he makes a good mascot.
Yeah, exactly.
So I sort of knew what was going to happen, and the philosophy was going to happen, and I knew that they could handle it.
But you talk about conditioning. I'm watching your running back, Robert Jackson.
Yeah.
He just tore it up in that final drive.
Absolutely.
He looked dead. He looked like he had 1 ounce of breath left in his body the last time he carried the ball.
Yeah, but also then it cuts into that competitiveness of the individual, and our team was full of competitors. And so that as long, take Hyatt Abenchon, who is our fullback, okay?
Yep.
He's out there, he thinks his shoulder's dislocated. And he goes in, I'm going in, coach, I gotta go in. So he goes, he's a fullback, he's the guy leading the blocks. I noticed that his first block, he doesn't really commit to it, so I pull him out. Well, he's furious at me because that was his play. He was supposed to fake the guy and then roll out and pass. So he's going, but I'm okay. And we threw in Casey Russell, and he took it, and Hyatt's going, but I'm okay. And that's all my guys, regardless how injured, how tired. They were gonna dig deep, they dug deep. What was it, 58 seconds left in the game, and we scored. 28 seconds, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a lot less than 58,
It was less than a minute, and we score, and just everybody left it all on the field, and it's what football is about. It's
By
what
the
sports
time you
is
got
about.
to about the 15, it looked like this game had completely changed momentum, that you had it. Even though you needed that pass interference call in the end zone eventually to win it, but it just looked like this East Side Eagles team saw the goal line and behind them and knew it was coming.
And saw it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about that call, and I noticed it was controversial. But the thing is that, the rules are the rules.
Oh, nobody's going to argue, but of course everybody had an argument.
Yeah, right. but if on a comeback play somebody gets tackled before the ball's in the air, you have to call it. So it was legitimate. I mean, that's what I'm putting out there. Yes, the momentum was on our side. If it hadn't gotten that call, we would have found another way to win. This team was not going to be denied, And it was really great the way they did it. They showed that they weren't going to be denied.
It was tremendous.
It was a lot of fun.
It really was one of the great games to watch, and congratulations.
Well, thank you so
You're
much.
the champs. How do you like that trophy?
This is my new best friend.
David Hasselfield, the head coach of the Fort Garry Lions Majors, the champions of the Manitoba Major Football League. We're going to talk to a lot more majors coming up, and I think Gary the Lion's going to stick around and dance for us some more. This is The Huddle, community created on Shaw TV. Scott Taylor back with two more members of the Fort Garry Lions, the championship Manitoba Major Football League team that won that thriller on the weekend at championship weekend, 17-14 over the Eastside Eagles. To my far right, the running back, Robert Jackson, and to my immediate right, the quarterback, Christoph Hasselfield. Christoph, the final drive, we talked to your dad, the head coach, about it. It was one of the most thrilling things I've watched in a long time in football in Manitoba. Tell us about it from the quarterback's point of view.
To be perfectly honest, I remember maybe 3 plays from that drive because I was so in the moment. That first third down conversion, I remember that hook pass that hit Caleb Mueller on, and that really got the momentum going. After that, I kind of felt like I settled just got in the moment.
So that was the play that kind of changed the whole mentality of the drive.
There was a couple key plays, but that was the one for me that really, I hit the big 3rd and 10. Pretty sure I put a nice pass on him. He grabbed it and we made it, and I sort of calmed down at that point and kind of settled in and said, okay, we can do this at that point. So.
And you got a lot of help from that guy.
Oh yeah.
Who was, you probably put 30 yards on in that drive.
Yeah.
And you looked at the end, you were running straight up, you looked dead tired, and yet you were still finding a hole and still finding more yardage. You must have been dead tired on a team of 23 guys.
Yes, I was playing defense too. I was going both ways. So I was really tired. But I just had to fight. Like, my legs were about to cramp up, but I knew I had to give it all because it was my last year. And then
yeah, it was your last game.
My last game, and I've never played in a championship game before. My first ever championship, so I had to give it all. And
well, let's go back with you guys. You both started at Crescentwood.
Yes, at different times.
But tell me, different times. So tell me the story. Tell me a little bit about your career. When did you start, and how did you get to where you are now?
Oh, I started football when I was 10 years old. I played Crescentwood Grizzlies. It was just out of the blue. I was driving by one day and I just seen they needed more players. So I was like, hey, why not? I'll try it out. And then been loving it ever since and played it to like 12 years. And yeah.
Where'd you play in high school?
I played at Grand Park Pirates. So I was in.
And then you went from Grant Park
I played
to
Winnipeg.
Major?
No, I played Winnipeg Rifles, juniors. I played that for 2 years. And then I just was going through some stuff, personal stuff. And then so I just took 2 years off. And then I knew a bunch of players from Crescentwood and from my high school that were playing at Fort Garry. And so they told me to come play, and I said, well, I don't know if I can. I got work, I had concerned days. So then I came out and watched their first game at the Nomads, and I was liking it, and I was like, okay, I'll sign up if I can get off work. And I ended up getting off work, and the rest is history.
You recruited him basically off the sidelines.
Not me personally, me and a big group of guys who also went to Grant Park and knew Robert, so we knew the caliber of player he was. And yeah, we saw him on the sidelines there when we were celebrating after winning our first game against the Nomads. And first game the Nomads put up the score from the year before, which was something like 49-7 or something. I don't know, they were trying to rub it in our face, and we ended up kicking them pretty good, so that felt real nice. Yeah, we saw Robert on the sidelines there, and we said, Bert, why aren't you playing, man? Like, you should be out here with us. And thank God he came out, because he was a big part. You mentioned his 30 yards rushing in that final drive, but his pass blocking, the whole line, his pass blocking, my fullback, so Hyatt and Casey Russell, was key to that drive. They gave me the time to make the plays that I needed to in the pass game, and he obviously made the plays in the run game.
Tell us about the party. Did you guys have fun after?
Oh yeah. Big shout out to our fullback, Hyatt, for throwing the rager.
Throwing it down.
I see that the trophy's missing a handle.
Yeah, it was partying too. It was going hard with the team.
Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah.
It's a great story. Final drive, you're down 14-10.
Yeah.
You got about 6 minutes to go?
No, 2:21.
That's what I thought when I had the argument.
Yeah.
He said,
he's getting old. And so
forgetting the time. You didn't have that much time left.
They scored. We got the ball back with 6 minutes left. We ended up going 2 and out, and then our defense stood up big and held, so we got the ball back with 2:21 left, and then we drove the field and scored with 27 seconds.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
It's a movie. You're
great.
a movie. Picked up off the sidelines. It's great. I love it. Fort Garry Lions, champions of the Manitoba Major Football League. Nobody expected it. 4-3 on the season, and you guys just blasted through the playoffs. Great job.
Yeah.
Congratulations. When we come back, we got lots more. This is The Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba, and we're community created on Shaw TV. Hi, everybody. Scott Taylor back with the Huddle. To my immediate right, a man who picked off an interception during that spectacular Manitoba Major Football League Championship game. Joseph Jabby, congratulations on winning a championship.
Thank you.
And to my far right, Abraham Eob, who also had a tremendous game playing special teams and defense. Abraham, tell us about the defensive end of this game, because you did win at 17-14. The defense on a team with 23 guys when you started the game really did a defensive job against a team that had won 20 straight games.
Yeah, well, our defense is, they're all physical. We like to play physical, right? So as soon as we started the game, we all said that we have to give all we can, right? We have to put in work to get to the championship.
And hit people.
And yeah, so we have to play.
I mean, the only reason anybody plays defense is to hit people, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's a physical game, right? So we all want to hit somebody and make a play, right? So we...
For those who weren't there on Saturday, tell us about what you played and the time you spent on the field, because you guys didn't come off very often.
Yeah. I mean, I played halfback and Joseph played corner. We played on the same side since high school. And
both at Churchill?
Yeah, we played both at Churchill. And so we just want to get that two and out, and we just want to give the offense the ball so they can get to work as well as us.
How tired were you at the end?
Honestly, I wasn't very tired.
That's great.
I was pumped. I was really into the game, you know. So
because you not only played corner, you also returned punts and kicks.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah.
So you've been running all over the field.
I was running all over the field, but it was my last game, so I had to give everything I have.
Are you done too? Is this?
Oh no, I still got.
You got a year left.
I still got a year.
So did you play together at Churchill?
Oh yes, we
yeah,
did.
we did.
How was your experience, and why did you start playing football?
I honestly, I like the sport. I like contact. So when I first moved to Churchill, when I came in, I watched the first.
Where's home for you?
I moved from Sierra Leone, West Africa.
Yep.
And so I came. I went and watched Churchill first game, and I was like, man, I like this sport. You know, you guys running around, hitting each other. So I went home, I spoke to my aunt, and she's like, you know, I don't like that sport. She said, I don't want you to be playing it. And so I went back, talked to Kelsey McKay, and then Kelsey McKay called her, and she finally agreed. So
let you play football.
Yeah, that's right. So
why did you start?
I mean, the way I started was I saw it was very, very interesting. Someone asked me if I could play football, and back home in Sudan, football is soccer.
Right.
So they said, do you want to play football? I'm like, yeah, I want to play football. Now we go out, and now I'm like, wait, that's not football. I was like, that's not football, right? Someone threw it, and I'm like, they're like, okay, you got to catch it like this.
What was it like the first time you put on all the equipment?
It was very tough. I didn't know where to put the strap on. I'm like, wait, what do I put on? And then I'm like, so do I get any protection? They're like, yeah. So I'm like, I need someone to help me out with it. But it was really interesting. I got someone to get me into it, and I said, I want to play it. My mom said, no, you can't play it because it's too physical. She saw it, and she thought it was just a dog pile. Like, everyone jumping at each other, right? So she said she's
organized chaos.
Yeah. But it was very interesting. It's a physical game. I like it. It's very good.
And you guys have played it for a long time now. You're 7 years into the game.
Yeah.
And do you want to play some more? Do you want to take it further? I mean, you shouldn't be done now. You played a great game on the weekend.
I know. I definitely want to continue, you know, but I've been talked to any universities yet, but I would definitely love to carry on my football career.
You're going to play another year with Fort Garry?
I still got another year, but I still haven't decided yet. See where it goes.
You guys played great. Tremendous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The champions, the DBs, Abraham Eob and Joseph Jabby from the Fort Garry Lions, the champions of the Manitoba Major Football League. One of the great upsets we've watched in a long time, and it was a tremendous performance by all of you. Congrats. This is The Huddle, community created on Shaw TV. Hi, everybody. We're back. I'm Scott Taylor, and my guest is Brandon Thomas, the quarterback of the St. John's Tigers. And congratulations on getting a point. Now, a lot of people might think, well, that's not a very big deal. But for St. John's, it's been a tough road to hoe for you guys in the Currie division of the Winnipeg High School Football League. And yet it's getting better and getting better. And this year you finally got a point. It must have felt pretty good to get that tie.
It did. After 2 years not getting a point, we didn't score a win in 2 years, but next year for sure.
You got better players coming back. You had a lot of rookies this year.
We had a lot of rookies this year. They'll definitely be coming back. We've motivated everyone to hit the weight room. Last week, we had 24 players in the weight room.
That's a big step.
That was a big step.
Big step for you guys.
2 years ago, we only had maybe 3. That was about
a huge
it.
step. Tell us about yourself. Your family's originally from Peguis. You grew up in the North End. Tell us why you started to play.
When I was younger, I always watched my older brother play it. And
he was with the Rods?
He was with the Rods, yes. And I really enjoyed watching him play it. He was the running back, so he always got to score touchdowns. He always got to celebrate. And then so when I came and decided to play, I wanted to be on offense, score touchdowns, do something.
Dance around the end zone.
Yeah. And so I came into football, and then they put me as a receiver. And then, I don't know, me and the quarterback were.
You guys didn't get along?
No, we didn't get along. He never threw to me.
It's got to be tough to be a receiver and you don't speak to the quarterback and he doesn't throw to you.
It was. And like when he did throw to me, it would be in like real tough situations. And so I would really have to pull it through and shine.
Yeah.
And so I did.
But finally your coach, Brian Marks, finally said to him, Brandon's open.
He's always open. And so he finally started throwing. I was on the left side, so I was on his back side, I guess. And then he would always throw those, I guess you could call them like deep passes. Like they were just, it was basically like a go pattern.
Right.
And he would always throw it to me, and I would always beat the guy. I was tall, my DBs were short.
And you were a little bit faster too.
And I was a bit faster too.
Now, when did you become a quarterback?
I became a quarterback last year.
Why?
Watching the quarterback not throw to me really got to me. And I didn't like it, so I decided, I'm gonna be a quarterback. I can really make this team improve. And so I went to U16. Didn't know how to throw a ball, didn't even know how to hold the ball proper. And then so I went to U16, started learning fundamentals, started learning my drop back, got really good at it, started to become fun. Started throwing touchdown passes, which I really enjoyed. And then so I stayed as quarterback.
You're a little bit like the Fort Garry Lions team that won the major championship. You don't have a big team. There's not 40 or 45 kids out there. Everybody knows each other pretty well. And you must start to grow the chemistry on this team.
We only had 24 players this year.
So it's got to be tough.
It was tough. Like, I really wanted to play both ways, but coaches never let me.
Yeah, because he's got to have a quarterback.
They got to have a quarterback.
Can't play without a quarterback. Now, there's something special about you. You only see out of your left eye.
Only out of my left.
Tell us that.
When I was born, they thought I was born with like a cyst in my brain or something, but I developed, I guess. And when I was born, my right eye was undeveloped, so I really had like a lazy eye as a child. And then so they said one day it will eventually develop, and I don't know, it doesn't bug me at all whatsoever.
But you see as well out of your left eye, according to the eye doctor, as most people with 2 eyes.
Yeah.
So you have no trouble reading the eye chart?
No trouble whatsoever. Like there was times where the words would get blurrier and blurrier, but I would still be able to read it. And then the doctor would say, you have better vision than an average person. And I was like, okay, well that's good. It must be because I only see out of one eye for my whole life. Right,
so it hasn't bothered you at all being the one-eyed quarterback of the St. John's Tigers.
Yeah.
How far do you want to take football? I know you want to play a lot longer. You're only in grade 11 now. You've got grade 12 next year. What do you want to do after that?
After that, I want to go into university, go and play for a university team, see what happens with that. If I get into the CFL, go into CFL.
Well, your timing would be perfect because Jordan Yance has 1 more year with the Bisons, and then you could step in.
Yeah, timing could be perfect too.
Timing could be perfect. Brandon Thomas, the quarterback of the St. John's Tigers. Congratulations on getting that point. It'll be better next season.
Yes, it will.
Got a good coach in Brian Marks. When we come back, we got lots more. This is The Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba, community created on Shaw TV. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Huddle. I was just reading the new issue of The Huddle magazine. We have that ad. That's really good.
Right on.
My guest from Old Dutch and the Crunchers, Greg Dick. We're going to come in and talk only about the Crunchers, which we will talk about. But last week, you had a big week in Winnipeg because the Saskatchewan Huskies came to town, and there was a guy playing on the Saskatchewan team that I've heard of before, and we've had as a guest on this show, and that would be Mason Dick, who just happened to be your son.
Yeah, you had to bring that up, eh, Scott?
Yeah, well, right. But I'm sure he had a year he loved in Saskatchewan.
We're very proud of him. He made his mind up where he wanted to go because the program fit him, and he's really enjoyed it so far.
Good for him. Let's talk about Old Dutch and Crunchers. What are Crunchers?
Okay. Well, actually, the Crunchers started with, it was a Terminator League that was in Winnipeg here.
The bobbleheads.
The bobbleheads, yeah. And actually, I got started when I started coaching. That's what I started coaching, was the Terminator League with Mason. So I have been involved in various different age groups and coaching and all that stuff. What happened was a couple years ago, some of the kids that were recruited out of Winnipeg, we lost some good athletes to other programs. So I thought, brainstorming a little bit, we thought, well, how do we keep the kids in Winnipeg? How do we keep them local? So what happened was we put together, I sat down with Football Manitoba. We talked about creating a program that would keep kids at home, first of all, by exposing them to higher levels of football. So exposing them to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the Manitoba Bisons, and the Winnipeg Rifles. And hopefully, at some point in their career, they play for all three, or,
right, sure.
or who knows what. But, that was ultimately the goal. But then I tried to, I'm in business, I'm with Old Dutch Food, so how do you tie a corporate company into sponsoring a program like that? Well, it just so happened that we were involved with all three teams from a sponsorship level, and nobody's really ever tied football in Manitoba together at those three levels, plus with minor football to this degree. So we sat down with all three levels, and Football Manitoba as well in the office, and put together a program that fit with the MMFA, who was heavily involved in this as well. And I think it really came out this year, the program went off without a hitch. Every level of football in Manitoba was involved, and it really was supported, and I have to thank them all. And I'd like to start by thanking the Winnipeg Blue Bomber Football Club, Football Manitoba. I'd like to thank the Winnipeg Rifles, the Manitoba Bisons, and the MMFA for allowing us to do this.
And it's basically right now a program for the really young kids.
Yeah, it's for 7 and 8 year olds, and really it's grassroots. So for us as a company, it's kind of nice to get that community involvement, and it's definitely a bonus when you can get kids at that age enjoying a sport that hopefully they can play for a number of years. And I think that's what we've done. So hopefully we expose football in Manitoba to a greater degree and get more kids involved. And not only that, but allow them to be exposed to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the Rifles, and the Bisons, and maybe play there someday. So it was very interesting. Old Dutch has always had a very heavy role in this community in supporting active communities. The other thing we've done is we came up with a new slogan, "Quality lives here." Well, that's what's on the jerseys is Old Dutch Foods, or Old Dutch, and then "Quality lives here." How do you say that better than with 7 and 8 year old kids running around on a football field? So to me, that was a good tie.
Great program. Congratulations. Well done. And
thanks.
Congrats to Old Dutch as well.
Thanks for having me here, Scott.
And congrats to your son.
Thank you.
Good year for Mason Dick. Greg Dick from Old Dutch, and of course from the Crunchers football. It was a great 2013 season. This is The Huddle, community created on Shaw TV. We'll be back right after this. We had a great show today.
We did.
Prides of lions, not just a couple. We had lots.
We had lots of lions. We had a bear. We had
everybody.
We had everybody. It was like the animal show, the Animal Kingdom today. It was. It was great. But yeah, the Fort Garry kids, the majors were.
And what it proved more than anything else is how important that stadium is.
Yeah.
These kids just love playing in that stadium.
They love playing in that stadium.
And that's why you needed to have that championship game at Investors Group Field.
Big time.
I know it was tough to have those semifinals at East Side. You wanted to do both.
Well, do both, but you know
it
what?
was great to see Manitoba get a semifinal game.
Yeah, I was just saying having the Bisons host that game.
And of course, the Bombers had the end of the season.
Yeah.
Lots of football.
A lot of football, and still.
And we got a great off-season coming up.
Got a great off-season coming up.
And you'll be with me?
I'll be with you.
Rick Hankowicz, the commissioner of the Winnipeg High School Football League, board member with Football Manitoba, and board member with Football Canada. Rick Hankowicz is everywhere. We're done for today. We'll be back next week. This is The Huddle. We are Football in Manitoba, and we're community created on Shaw TV. See you next week.
is brought to you by Canadians Destination Centre Fort Garry, Tavern United Fort Garry, a new world sports pub. Watch your favorite games on 2 brand new 70-inch monitors on our patio located at 1824 Pembina Highway in Winnipeg, Manitoba.